Now, many of you probably think Florida has the perfect weather, and in many cases it does. I love it here. I'm never leaving. Neither are you.
Many months a year.
That's true. But it's not always perfect for some of our reptilian friends. So, what do? Well, we're back here with Sam Pascucci from Florida Iguana and Tortoise Breeders, and he's going to show us exactly how he controls the weather for his animals. Our animal mission is simple: education in action, conservation in action. This is Kamp Kenan. All right, Sam, so I love it. These are greenhouses, and you're using the plastic greenhouse material. Right. It's low cost.
Yes, it is low cost. Maybe it's $300 or $400 for a greenhouse this size, which is about 35 feet, and this one is 20 feet wide. That one's 25 feet wide.
Oh, that's incredible, man. Well, why don't you take us through and show us what you're absolutely doing here with the animals in this particular greenhouse.
Okay, what this allows us to do is, we have a lot of things that we're raising. We have baby red feet, we have baby spurs, we have some baby hypos here. There's some, these are some different island
that's beautiful.
Here. And what it does is basically, in one sense, it's an area where we can work when it is raining. So you've got your guys out, you have a spot that you can work, you got your tools, you're building something. We've built a lot of things right here. We still have the ability to work on animals. And
well, you mentioned something. It's funny when it rains for me. My cyclura, my rhinos, Cubans, and so on, they don't eat. It's too cool.
Right.
It could be, in the 80s, but because it's raining, their body temperature really needs elevated. Why don't you tell people a little bit about the metabolism of these lizards and why they need to be so warm?
Yeah, it's exactly that. They're reptiles, so they're cold-blooded. So their entire digestive system, their metabolic system, their immune system is all tied to that metabolism. So they need to be hot. They need to be warm. That's where they come from. That's how their system works.
And that's where they get that appetite, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you. Like everyone thinks like reptiles have the same parameters of heat, and that's not true.
Right.
I actually was in the San Diego Zoo, and we were talking about. I got to see their tuatara habitats. They have this beautiful climate-controlled area for tuatara. Actually, they keep it at 55 degrees. So here is not quite a lizard. It's not classified as a lizard, but it is a reptile that needs to be cooler. The thing with like your bearded dragons, desert species, cyclura, which are from the Caribbean islands, but it's kind of a xeric habitat, more dry, believe it or not. They really need to bake in order to digest, huh?
Yeah.
What do you think the average basking temp should be for those guys?
Oh, it's got to be over 90. I mean, they'll lay there 95, 100 degrees. That's like you say, their basking temperature. Don't want to give folks the idea that they can lay there all day long. They're going to thermal regulate, so they're going to go in, they're going to go out. There's a lot of people that set up 110, 115 degree basking spots, and then that animal will decide how close or how far away he wants to get from that spot. But typically if you measure their body temperature, you'd be surprised, because I measure it naturally 95 and over. 95 and over is if you measure their skin temperature.
And that's for good metabolism. So now you've got this facility. Hey, what's this little guy over here? While we're talking, we can look at some cool May I open this and get a little shot of this guy?
Ahead.
What am I looking at? This is some type of skink.
This is a leopard skink. And I like these guys because these are the only skinks that produce live young.
Get out of here. Well, what about the Solomon Island skinks? I got some of those in their live birds. But this is maybe, ground. I don't know if that's entirely accurate, buddy. I think also blue tongues are also
Skinks is not my main suit. I'm just going to let people know
that's
that.
okay.
This is kind of an interesting thing for me. This is not something that, really I'm breeding and are selling. This is kind of just a personal animal, and I just got into them, and I really like them.
Well, that's what's cool about reptiles is whenever you get into a new species, you're a beginner again, and you get to learn. So you'll never. I love I like not being an expert, sometimes I like to.
Sometimes, you got to enjoy the animal.
Exactly right, man.
So then actually, if you go one more step down, here is the fencer, and I don't know if we have one out.
The fencer?
Yeah, this is it's the smallest iguana. They're only about this long. Yeah.
Show me. Got to see one. I'm sure everyone else wants to see one as well. So where are these guys from?
These guys come from Mexico. Like
Are they a centenosaur?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I'm gonna just get all up in your grill. Let me see what we got. I got it, buddy. I got this nice little camera, and we can kind of go in there and have a peek at them. Look at this. He's hiding. That is one of the world's smallest iguanas?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, can we flip that lid off there? So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not hiding
That
under
is
it?
so awesome. Hold on. He's not under it. He was on it. He was on it.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he was right on it. Look at that guy. Oh, careful. Look at that little stubby tail. Boy, not a very good climber, it seems. Are these more of a terrestrial species?
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Rocks and crevices and stuff like that.
That makes sense with that
Yeah.
tail, right? Oh gosh, let's leave him be. I
Yeah,
don't want.
yeah.
I don't want him to keep dropping like
She's
that.
so freaking out like that.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool, man. That is a really cool animal. So again, this is a species that prefers a more dry climate, and you're able to do that because it's not going to get rained on in this greenhouse.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's really cool.
Well, which is the other thing, you know, it's not just temperature. You know, you're dealing with the rain here in South Florida all the time. You know that.
Yes.
So it's not unusual when you can't raise little babies outside in pouring rain.
Gotcha.
You just can't do it.
They can get skin fungus. They can get all kinds of
Yeah,
problems.
they just won't eat. They're you know, now even if it's warm out, they're being cooled because it's constantly raining on them. And
Gotcha.
everything
So
like
this
that.
just really gives you the control. To
Yeah,
keep
not
their
only that,
health
you know, you
number
extend
one.
your growing season too, rather
Gotcha.
than going through that whole winter thing.
Well,
that
we should also mention that this is a breeding facility where
Yeah, that's what we
you
do.
produce these animals, and they're captive bred so that people can enjoy them without having to pillage from wild populations.
Yes, exactly.
Very,
exactly.
very important. What's going on here? Okay, let's see what you got in here, bud. Oh,
These are ones you recognize.
I have these look like Leon, Sophia's little lizard. These are banana pectinata. Beautiful kind of morph, but are these are a naturally occurring morph, aren't they?
Yes.
So these are the spiny tail iguana, like a subspecies, or
Yes, this is Tenosaur pectinata.
Okay.
And then it's banana, like you said, the banana phase.
that is really
So
cool.
it's a pectinata.
And these guys are found where, Sam?
They're in Mexico, exactly where I don't really remember.
That's fine, but they're a tropical species. But that being said, they're more of an animal that will kind of hang out in a drier portion of the country. But they're really just look at that. How cool is this guy? Really, really beautiful. I love this guy on the rock.
Yeah.
And I like these black rocks because these black rocks absorb heat.
Right.
But your animals are so accustomed to they're really not worried about this GoPro at all, are they?
No, actually, I can go in there every so often, and I do go in there every so often and grab one and everything. It kind of helps in that taming process where, you know, you help get them used to people.
Very cool. So you've got wire on the bottom so they can't dig out.
Wire in the bottom,
And you've got a
little
shade.
shelf back there that they can
can
always
hide
get some
in.
shade in, no matter what. Then they've got a little walking bridge
Yeah, I
here
like
that they
that.
can get up to their shelf. They
Where
don't-
you have that vinyl fencing wrapped around it,
Yes,
so it's easy.
exactly.
Very basic setup, but all the needs are met. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love it, man. It gives me ideas, and it's basically, this is a nursery. You know, so you want to keep things simple for these animals so you can keep an eye on them and make sure that the animals are not sick, that they're behaving properly. Very important when they're young, because even though they're born, you know, so many people think nature is perfect, and it is, but nature also does not care. Only the strong survive. So in the wild, most baby reptiles are consumed.
Yeah.
So here, he's giving them a really good chance at growing up.
I run into that conversation with people all the time where they say, well, you know, in the wild you don't dig up the eggs. Yeah, but in the wild the raccoons eat half
Yeah,
the eggs too.
or the
so
eggs
you've got to
get inundated.
maximize what harvest you have. That's what you're doing.
There's a fine line, you know. I have this belief that, you know, and it's controversial, but it's a belief that I've kind of formulated over the years, is that we are of the earth. Unless some aliens dropped us here, we are of.
they did, but-
Well, oh God, we'll get into that later. We'll get into that later. But we are of the earth, so therefore everything we do is nature's design. You know, so maybe nature wanted us to be good stewards and take care of these animals to kind of provide that ark against calamities.
Yeah, we'll talk
unforeseen.
about that one too.
It's gonna get good. He'd be a good podcast guest. We
Yeah,
can really get
absolutely.
going. We're gonna have. I'm gonna start a reptile and conspiracy podcast. It's gonna be a lot of fun. First guest right here. What are we looking at next? We'll get back to the reptiles. What are we looking at next?
Wrong one.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, was that one not dressed? Sorry. Yeah. It's like he opened a door and an animal was in its unmentionables. Oh, wrong. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh. What are we looking at here?
These are little hypos.
Oh my gosh. That's a hypomelanistic green iguana.
Right.
That is beautiful. You know,
And these guys are like albinos. They have that albino that albino color. They just don't have pink eyes, so they have normal eyes. which makes this animal much easier to care for.
Yeah, because they don't have any of the vision problems.
Yes, when you're raising albinos, you have to take special care with them, especially the babies, especially the younger animals, that they feed properly, because they don't see their food very well. So
Gotcha.
So and I'm not knocking albinos. I love them.
Produce them, haven't you?
Yes, I
Produced
do,
them?
and they're absolutely beautiful. But there's a lot to be said with these hypos, and so now some of the things that we're doing is we're mixing in reds and blues with the hypos.
Really?
Yeah. So
you see, I can see these guys, and everyone who follows the channel knows that I'm colorblind. But I can absolutely see just how gorgeous these animals are. And what I love about your animals is the fact that they're so acclimated and just conditioned to your involvement in them. I love that. Look at this guy chilling. What would, a hypo iguana of this size kind of run, price-wise?
I sell the babies. I'm going to show you the babies.
Okay.
I sell the babies for $5.95.
Okay.
Probably $1,400-1,500.
Gotcha. That's beautiful. I got to tell you, man, I'm not normally a morph guy, as you know. That's a pretty lizard. And there's something to be said for, I love green iguanas.
I know. They're magnificent,
They're
aren't they?
magnificent animals. They might be the most popular.
Just because they're common doesn't make them not magnificent.
Exactly right. And when you see a large male with a beautiful dewlap and that crest, it's an impressive animal. So anyhow, all right. What else are we looking at, buddy?
Well, I mean, I guess that's probably the main part of it. But again, what it does is it allows me to control the temperature. It gives me longer growing seasons in the winter.
Yeah.
And it allows me to raise these little babies where it's not raining on them and they're not in the water all the time. So it's a very controlled environment.
Right.
So,
and then you roll up the Visqueen or the plastic as needed, and then
the walls go up and down.
Awesome.
So the other advantage is, okay, so I have all of these little cages.
Right.
Now, if this was outside, I'd have to have heat in each one of these cages. Could you imagine running all those wires and all those different heat platforms? So what happens is,
it's a lot of work.
I think I have hypos here somewhere. But what happens is I just heat the whole house. It takes me a couple minutes. Seriously, I could probably do it in a minute. I let the side down, I let that side down, I close the front door, and then I turn my heater on. It's all set to go.
That's cool.
So, matter of fact, you see, we're just finishing the winterization. That's why there's a little construction. But yeah, this is the heater that we use for the winter, and then this is something we pull the top of the air. We pull that out, which gives it a lot of ventilation.
That's really, really cool, man.
Yeah.
Really cool. Well, you got one more greenhouse I want to peek in. Come on, I know you guys want to see. He's not just got this one, he's got another. And this one was the first one you built over there, correct?
Right, yeah.
All right, so this is the newer one. Let's go back into the OG, and you can kind of get another sense of the space. And these are different, like we've seen other greenhouses that are more of a rigid structure. These are a frame, and then it's covered over. So it's a good low-cost opportunity, you know?
Yeah,
so it's pretty cool.
And check the temperature out in here.
Wow, 100 and what is that?
Oh, like
102,
103
degrees.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy, man.
So it's humid, it's hot, and you can see the side walls are up.
Right.
If I in the winter time, it can be cloudy out there, it can be cool out there. I put those sides down.
Okay.
It's hot in here.
Nice.
It's easy 95. I mean, even in the winter here, it's 95, and it still stays sunny. And this is a special plastic, so I get good UVB through this. And I've tested the UVB. I just don't guess at what the UVB is. I actually test it.
I gotta ask you, the structure. This just the metal.
Yeah.
To erect this structure.
Right.
What's the cost on something like that? Just the metal.
Just the metal, probably $1,800.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, I think I put this whole the whole unit in, equipment wise, runs $2,500 with the heaters. I think this one was a little more expensive. Maybe this one was $2,800. A couple of years went by with the heaters.
I'm getting ideas here, people. We got a partnership coming out with a company, and they're helping us build some new lizard enclosures, and I'm looking for a low-cost way to create the frame. I think I just got an idea.
Yeah.
I can actually decorate this frame with bamboo. I could probably put bamboo over the things and have the screen.
Yeah.
This is interesting. And then, if I wanted, I could probably run the plastic over it and just heat the entire enclosure.
Yeah.
We got a good idea. See? I'm sorry to.
No, it's okay.
I'm going to let you talk. I'm sorry.
ahead.
I know you guys get annoyed when I ramble, so I'll try to be quick.
You're
And
having
let
an epiphany.
I'm having an epiphany.
It's all good for me.
Yeah. So
I've
what?
had a lot of epiphanies lately.
Epiphanies,
too.
have you?
Yeah,
This
we'll
is
discuss them later too.
All right. So anyway, I'm thinking that I can, instead of then having just to heat little boxes, I could just heat the whole thing.
Yeah,
Very
Only
interesting.
thing I wanted to mention was, you know, the substrate. What you use here, this rock is thick. You know,
Right.
we're 2 and 3 feet over here for how deep this rock is, and it allows that drainage. So these are extremely easy to take care of.
Right.
You notice that I
Spray it down.
I just spray it down. You see that we use that tray. Here, we can take a look over here. There's some other hypos. Wow. We can use that. We just use that. We feed them over here on this little piece of plastic. And then we have a water bowl in there, of course. And then, you know, we have a, you don't see it here, it's under here, but, you know, we have a drip system that we also use, a misting system that we also use. And so when you want to come in here, I don't even have to open the door to clean those guys.
Yeah, you just missed them down.
You know, you can go in there, you can use a little chlorhexidine, and you can disinfect.
And these animals get sold, right? These are animals that you are selling.
Yeah.
So there's at the end of each season, these animals move out,
Yes.
and then younger ones get transferred in.
Right.
Interesting.
So that's it. They come. They first start off here, then they head to the bigger greenhouse, and then they go out to the breeding cages, the ones that eventually that I keep.
All right, there you go. We've learned quite a bit today. It's always fun hanging out with Sam at Florida Iguana and Tortoise. I always invert the two. Got tortoises on the brain, Sam. But yeah, I learned something, and I'm going to look into this more because this might be a cool, inexpensive way to get a lot of space for some new lizard enclosures that I got to build. If you liked the video, like and subscribe and hit the notifications button and head on over to Patreon. We would love your support. We have some great videos on there and content you can't find anywhere else. So head on over there and help us continue to make great videos with great people like Sam. Thanks so much for doing it for the animals and to educate. See you soon.